and everyone to today's webinar, How to Create a Compelling LinkedIn Personal Profile. I am your host, Rosa B. So I just want to welcome you all along here today. I believe we have quite the crowd here today. It's a big number, isn't it, Toby?
Absolutely.
How many's here today with us?
I think altogether, maybe 60, but that can change. But we'll
okay.
happy to see everyone, really, aren't we?
Brilliant. Well, what I wanted to do is, obviously, I've just introduced you to Toby. Toby is our, executive producer, director, engineer. He's also my co-host as well. So I just wanted to introduce you to Toby, but I think he's already done that. What I would like to do is introduce you to our BSL interpreter, who is Anna, and also our fabulous caption lady, Kimberly. Both looking fabulous today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do value you. So without further ado, today we're going to be doing how to create a compelling LinkedIn personal profile. So this webinar will be about 50 minutes with a 10-minute Q&A at the end, okay? We will also have the chat box on, so please feel free to chat away to us and actually to each other as well. It's really important that you share your experiences. Perhaps you're a prolific user of LinkedIn and you have a really strong personal brand. If so, why not share your insights and your tips with us? Because it's really important that we learn from each other. The other thing is that this webinar is going to be recorded. It's one of a selection of webinars that we are building for our Hive, which is a 24/7 resource website that you can use to access fabulous resources, tools, articles, and information with regards to your job search journey. A lot of the articles have been compiled and designed by Amy and Caroline and Tammy. So just a big shout out to the other career coaches as well. So have I missed anything, Toby? I think we've got everything. The captions are all good to go?
Good to go.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's get started. Learning outcomes. What are we going to learn today? Well, do we know what a personal brand is? What is a personal brand? What I wanted to do is just, I suppose at this stage, let you know that when I talk about a personal brand, I am talking about your interests, your hobbies, and how you represent and present yourself in the world of work. So it's both of those areas, because some people see a personal brand as something that's very different from, say, a professional brand. So just with regards to today, I'm combining the two together. So when I talk about your personal brand, I am talking about you as a complete person. I'm talking about your interests, your hobbies, and as I've mentioned, how you present yourself in the world of work, because that's actually what recruiters and employers want to see. They want to see the whole person, right? And that's why they Google you. Yikes. Right. So we're going to also start to explore and craft your personal brand. We're going to learn some LinkedIn golden profile tips as well that may be useful for you. But again, as I've mentioned, it's really important that we share and learn from each other, right, Toby?
Absolutely.
So we also really want to get your feedback at the end. Let us know what you liked about the webinar. Was there something that we missed? Maybe you have some insights, or you would like some webinars on other things. So please do share that with us. So let's just go to the next slide. Okay, so guess what, folks? Yep, you already have a personal brand. Remember earlier I said that employers might want to potentially Google you and see what's out there? Well, I'm going to challenge you. Why don't you Google yourself right now? Tell me what pops up. Be really interesting to see what comes up in that chat channel. So did you know that every time you go online, that you are essentially leaving a trail, a digital footprint, right, Toby?
Absolutely, yeah.
So basically, it's up to you in terms of how you manage your brand. You're leaving that digital footprint for others to see. And trust me, employers are out there wanting to get a sense of who you are, the complete you. So when you've Googled yourself, what has popped up? Do you like what you see? Do you want your online reputation to take on a life force of its own, or should you be the one to control the narrative? Toby, have you ever Googled yourself?
Well, I actually have this morning, and it was a bit scary, a bit daunting, not going live, because, it very much like, can everyone else see too? But I have, and there was a few social media. But I suppose it's very much about controlling your brand, isn't it? What do you want people to see about you? So I think you've got to be very careful and just, be sensible. What about you, Rosa? Have you Googled yourself?
I have Googled myself, and I stumbled across an old photograph of me in Australia that was about 10 years old. Other than that, it's really just my Facebook and my LinkedIn that comes up. I think our point here is you have to be very mindful about your digital footprint. Just be aware of what you're putting out there into the online space, right? So let's move on, Toby. I'm still interested in finding out what you guys have Googled about yourself. So, please keep the chat going on the chat line. So, okay, what is a personal brand? Is it difficult to really nail this down? And we're not talking about a corporate brand, a corporate Ferrari brand, right? We're talking about a personal brand. And I mentioned earlier, it encompasses who you are as an entire person, your interests, your hobbies, but also who you are in the world of work. So it can represent your professional story. So essentially, your personal brand is really about your personality, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, really, it's about your experiences, your expertise, your competencies, but it's also about your actions and your achievements, right? And that can be within your community or within the world of work. So all these things define you as a person. So this slide reads, it's distinct, authentic representation of your professional story. And I'm focusing on professional here because we are looking at LinkedIn today. So it really does define your whole personality. So see it as like a personal calling card. But don't forget, it's also all about your reputation. It's an opportunity to help you market yourself, including your talents and your strengths. But it's also an opportunity for you to have a unique promise of your value and be able to articulate that to employers, or if you're an entrepreneur, to your clients or customers. So there's an opportunity here for you to build massive trust. So if you think about it, every interaction with others is an opportunity for you to create a memorable experience. And when you're consistent in delivering, you build a really strong reputation. And as a result, guess what? You build a really strong brand. So here's some key ingredients you might want to think about. In order to build your brand, you need to be knowledgeable. Have an opinion, it's okay, but be clear and consistent with your messaging. It's all right to have style, humor, and actually be a little bit vulnerable as well, because that's what makes us memorable and allows us to stand out. If anyone's had a chance to come across my last post on LinkedIn, I've posted a really kooky, funny post on ADHD strengths. Why not check it out? But it demonstrates my sense of humor, but I'm also trying to get a really strong message across about the strengths of ADHD. So just know that you have to be consistent across your audience, because this will also allow you to open up lots of possibilities and opportunities with regards to the world of work in the future. Okay, let's go to the next slide. What's everyone talking about, Toby, in the chat box?
Quite a few, to be fair. Let's start from the top. So someone has said, all that comes up for me is a bit of work info, my Instagram for my jewelry making. Not a lot, given how active I am on social media. Someone else has said, loads of my artwork on all sorts of websites. Mm-hmm. Another one says, my pictures and my breastfeeding pictures. Okay. We've got another one. I just Googled myself. The usual social media results were returned along with 2 published entries on my Plus Student Club platform. To be fair, they were published with my permission, but I really wasn't expecting them to appear. Okay, so there you go. There's a digital
a personal digital audit that you can do. You can remove tags on shares, etc. There are ways and means upon which you can tidy up your digital footprint if you want to. You can just do a very quick audit. It depends how peripheral you've been across all the different platforms, etc. But this builds a picture of who you are as a person, because remember, we're talking about your brand as in the complete you, all of you, the different parts of you. Okay, so in relation to LinkedIn, when we're talking about your branding, why bother, right? Well, specifically with regards to LinkedIn, did you know that there are 740 million members? That's right, globally. What an awesome opportunity to connect, meet with others, learn, find out, do business, seek out opportunities. There are 55 million registered companies across LinkedIn, and it's over 200 countries, so we're talking global. So there's a huge opportunity for you to be able to present your personal brand. Look at that reach, it's absolutely huge. But guess what? Here's one of the biggie reasons why you might want to craft that personal brand on LinkedIn. 92% of recruiters use social media to find you, and 87% use LinkedIn. So if you're not on LinkedIn, it's okay, you don't have to be, but you might want to think about it. If you're already on LinkedIn, have a think about what your personal brand is and how you're presenting yourself, because recruiters and employers do use LinkedIn as a massive job database search engine. They're in there searching for candidates. They want to get the best candidates for their opportunities. Okay, so always have that top of mind when you're building your personal brand, especially for LinkedIn. See it as a huge database where employers and recruiters are actively seeking and sourcing and searching for people just like you. Okay, so here are some other benefits. It really does add value to your skills and strengths. You can gain social proof for all of your talents and achievements, but you also have the opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge, your credibility, your leadership, your expertise. This is your story. You get to present it as you wish, as you want. But of course, you want to be as authentic as possible. So what is that knowledge that you have? What makes you credible? How are you a leader? What is your expertise? Your personal brand should also and can build trust and value across the community, in the business world, and as a result, it can enable you to actually reach out and seek out future job opportunities. Any questions? What's everyone's thoughts so far, Toby?
Still a few people talking about their LinkedIn profile and how surprising some of their searches are, but yeah, still quite active.
Okay, fantastic. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so how do we craft a personal brand? Where the heck do we start? So here's just a couple of creative ideas I want you to think about, right? Let's do a brainstorm activity. Why not do a little bit of reflection? Have a think about and ask yourself a couple of these questions. Get a sheet of paper, start brainstorming, and think about, what am I known for? What impact am I making? What are my core beliefs and values? What intrinsically motivates me? So what is important for you in the world of work? What does this job need to have for you? What's of most value? Is it social justice? Is it the opportunity to be creative? Think about what your values are. Try and jot down 3 core values that you might have. Okay, think about your unique talents and skills. What do you have to offer? What are your top strengths? What's your value? In which areas of work do you excel? What's your expertise? Here's a good one. What characteristics have others complimented you on? why not reach out to your current manager, perhaps a work colleague, a family or a friend, and just ask them, what makes me unique? Because sometimes we can't see it in ourselves, right? But often others can quite easily and quickly tell us who we are in terms of our talents and our skills and our abilities. But you also want to think about, who are you presenting to? Who are you pitching to? Who's your audience? What problem are you solving? So again, that comes down to value. What value are you offering? How are you solving that problem? And what unique talents and skills are you using to solve that problem? And who do you want to attract? So on LinkedIn, are you interested in attracting a specific employer? Is it from an industry sector? Perhaps maybe you're interested in building connections with thought leaders, influencers. Maybe you want to attract recruiters. Or if you're a small business or entrepreneur, perhaps it's a new customer or a new client. But this brainstorm activity is really the building block. It's the foundation to help you start thinking about your personal brand. Once you've done this, you can then start to synthesize down or reduce down all of this information into 3 or 4 keywords. But use this potentially as a foundation or as a starting block. If you're really creative, why not consider doing a vision board? A vision board is a fantastic tool that you can use that helps you to communicate your concepts and your ideas. Again, choose 3 questions. Who am I professionally? How do I want to be known? What are my skills and talents? In other words, what is my value? And who's my customers? You might want to get a sheet of paper, some old magazines, start cutting out those images, maybe start doodling. This is a really creative way to get you to think about who you are or who you want to be in the world of work. Why not check out our article that's on the Hive? It's called Why Stand Out with, sorry. It's an article that we have on the Hive at the moment, and it's called Why Fit In When You Were Born to Stand Out. My apologies for that. Okay, let's go to the next slide, Toby. Okay, so promoting your personal brand across LinkedIn. So these are the sections or areas on LinkedIn that allows you to be able to promote your personal brand, your headline, your photograph, the summary page, the work section, skills, education. Did you know that there was an honors and awards and a project section on LinkedIn that allows you to promote your personal brand, your skills and your achievements? And don't forget that recommendation and endorsement section, which is really like mini testimonials. It's like those references or those the references that you get. So these are all ways in which you can push, promote, and celebrate your personal brand across LinkedIn. So let's go to the next slide, Toby. Okay, first impressions last. A picture tells 1,000 words. So what does your profile and background photograph look like on LinkedIn? Mostly we retain 20% of what we read and 80% of what we see. Our brain can process visuals of up to 60,000 times faster than text. So that picture, those visualizations, your profile pic and your background photo are really, really important. So your profile photo, according to LinkedIn, this is a LinkedIn stat, can deliver up to 21 times more views than without. People with customized cover photos can get more connection requests, more messages, and more job interviews. So that's the power of the image. So here's just a couple of quick tips. Make sure it's high quality resolution and professionally appropriate, but also be mindful of the device layout that you're using. A lot of us have mobile phones, iPads, Macs. Just be careful about how you photograph your cover photograph, and your background or your banner ad is presenting itself across these devices. Don't forget to smile, be authentic. Recruiters do like a real person. Have a think about whether you volunteer, you write creatively, do you speak at industry events. That background photo is an opportunity for you to be able to present and promote your personal brand. So there's lots and lots of opportunities here for you to be really creative. Okay, so if you're wanting to be able to design your own brand, there is some really fab free tech that you can use, like Pixar or Canva. Did you know that Canva has got 1,200 free LinkedIn templates that you can just simply download, already pre-designed? Or you can create your own LinkedIn template through Canva by uploading your own images and playing around with it. So you can actually be your own brand guru. So what's everyone's thoughts on the photo image in the background? Have you paid much attention even to the background photo? Toby, what's coming up in the chat box?
Especially from the last part about trying to sell yourself, somebody has said they feel valued, successful collaboration in working. Somebody also said, I like to think of this as a personal avatar. We would do this for customers if you are self-employed.
I love that whole idea of a personal avatar. Fantastic. Brilliant. That's really, really, really creative, right? Awesome. Okay, so we've started with your image, both that little profile pic and also that background shot as well. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I am focusing on the top half of the LinkedIn profile sections, right? Because when it comes to your LinkedIn profile optimization, the key areas to promote your brand really is in that top half. So it's in the photo, the background photo, the LinkedIn headline, the about me, the summary section. So right now we're talking about your headline. This is your so what. So what? Well, it's 3 lines. It sits underneath your name. It's 120 characters. It's probably one of the most important fields for LinkedIn, for recruiters and employers when they're searching, because they search under keywords. So it's really important to think about this area, because this is really where you're wanting to put in really important content that will help you get found in job searches. So think about those keywords that sit in your job title or across your industry sector. Okay, so you can use, because LinkedIn will default to whatever your current job is, but you've also got an opportunity to then utilize that 120 characters. So you can do that, or rather than using your job title, you might want to mention your specialism. You might want to contain a benefit. Again, I mentioned about using those keywords, because again, you will appear in job searches if that's your goal, and that's why you're using LinkedIn. Don't forget to use commas or verticals to separate your text. And what is your tone? What's your tone? Is it conversational? Are you professional? Approachable? Do you have a sense of humor? Maybe it's a mix of all of those. So you want to think about the language that you're using across your LinkedIn profile. Here's an absolute fabulous tip for you. Have you, or are you aware of JobScan? It's got this excellent optimization tool that allows you to analyze your headliner against your industry sector for free. So why not play around with that tool to sort of help you, especially if you're in the game of wanting to be found by employers and recruiters? Okay, anybody in the chat box?
Someone says they like the idea of setting up a background image for their LinkedIn, which is interesting. Yeah. Who doesn't like setting up and being creative about picking a photo?
Absolutely. It's all about being creative. Think about it. Your LinkedIn's not like a CV. Your CV is a much more formalized document where you've got to be able to demonstrate your skills and your strengths. It's much more conservative and formalized. document. But LinkedIn, it's online, it's highly visual. You can present yourself in video, in the written word, through articles, and also through posts. It's a whole different approach to how you present and pitch yourself and your skills and your talents, in the world of work. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here's an example of a photo and a header. We have the fabulous Jane Hatton, and this image shows Jane, a photograph of Jane, with a background image of the Evenbreak logo. The words say, founder and CEO at Evenbreak, helping inclusive employers attract and retain talented disabled candidates. So, what do you find attractive about this particular personal branding piece? Is it the photograph? Is it the use of words? Is it the logo? Maybe it's the whole combination. Toby, what are your thoughts?
I like it. It's precise, it's smooth and slick. The color scheme is great. Jane's got a lovely photo profile picture. Someone also said Jane's summary is on point. Someone else says, I like the clean interface. I also like how she's got her pronouns. It just shows that a little bit more inclusiveness, really. Someone else says, good summary. So yeah, really positive about this profile.
So Jane, if you're watching, I think you got the thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Jane's color brand is matching. She's got a beautiful scarf. It's matching that lovely aqua blue, which gives that sense of calm, right? But look at the words in which Jane is using. Founder and CEO at Evenbreak, helping inclusive employers attract and retain talented disabled candidates. She's actually letting us know that she's got two types of clients. She's got the employer, and she's also got the job seeker or the disabled candidate. And really what she's doing is she's connecting these both together to help them thrive in the world of work. It's a really simple and concise, but very effective way of letting people know who she is and what she does and how she provides value. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Headliner formulas. So here are a couple of little headline formulas that you can use. You can even create your own if you like. And we will also have an article in the Hive that will give you opportunity to look at a variety of different headline formulas. There are absolutely tons. So you've got the question headliner. So this will remind the client of a pain area. So you're asking a question. You might want to combine that with a teaser solution, because obviously you want to demonstrate how you add value. What about the personality traits headline? This is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your unique character, your outstanding work ethic, perhaps maybe you're really creative, a problem solver, a carer. So really you're focusing on your different personality traits here. There's also the goal headliner. This is for the individual who wants to highlight their particular cause or goal or mission. What's their purpose? You might want to create your own headliner, and you can use a combination of any of these. So Toby, let's go to the next slide. Okay, here's another headliner example. Be kind. Be kind. So this is a Rosa Brings photograph and headliner. So this has a background that says creativity is just about connecting things, or creativity is just connecting things. And this is a quote from Steve Jobs. It has a black and white photo of myself, and the text says, Rosa M. Brain, creative coach, mentor, neurodiversity advocate, taking your career intention from the imagination to actualization, possibility into probability, and harnessing ability into assets, chaos to order, storyteller, ADHDer, and dyslexic. So what do you think of this as a headliner? Does this hit the mark? What does this say to you? I'll be really interested in finding out. And then I'll attempt to explain what I'm endeavoring to do through the use of this language. Toby, tell us a little bit about your photo and your...
Well, regarding your profile, someone's asked the question, why you, me, us at the top of your name? What does that mean, Reza?
Because I think I like to be different. I like to be inclusive, and I like the ring. I like the way in which these words, for me, it's about all of us. So I see us as a community. And because I'm a career coach and I support and coach people across all disabilities, I wanted to be really, really inclusive. So that's why I use those words. Plus, it's a little different and it's a little original.
Someone has said they like the multiple roles and the description under your photo and name. Okay,
thank you, Toby. So my attempt here is to demonstrate some of my values. So I am very, very creative, and I use creativity in my work. But I also like to coach, but mentor as well. And because I have lived experience of neurodiversity, I'm an ADHD and I have dyslexia. I'm really passionate about these areas. In terms of helping you as a candidate or a job seeker, really my goal is to help you thrive in the world of work. Maybe you want to change careers. Maybe you think it's impossible to find or get that job. Well, it's my job to help you move that from your imagination and actually make it real. But it's also my job to help support you understand how to harness or manifest your incredible talents and abilities and show employers that these are your assets. So really what we're doing, or what I'm attempting to do, is to really move you from chaos to order. And I like to do it through my creativity, my storytelling. And obviously I'm sharing here that I have neurodiversity. So I've got ADHD and dyslexia. Let's go to the next slide, Toby. Okay, so the summary section, this is the about me. It's where you get an opportunity to completely tell your story, but make sure you have a good story to tell, right? It's 2,000 words in length, so there's lots and lots of opportunity for you to get really creative. But where do we start? It might seem like it's a little overwhelming. Here's a quick template to help you get started. I love my elevator pitches, as Toby knows. I use them quite a lot in a lot of my other webinars. So with this, think about it. Your 2,000 words is an elevator pitch. So if we think about what a personal brand is and how you craft it in a couple of slides before, why don't you have the first section or the first paragraph as the who, what, why? It's the who, what, why introduction. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Who do you help? What problem are you fixing? Paragraph 2, this is where you share your magic, right? You want to show how you do your job well, but you also want to guide the viewer through that process. So you're showing them the how you do it. So you want to focus on your achievements. You can also highlight your ambition, but you want to back it up with some examples. So don't just list your skills and your strengths. You want to share why they matter and how they matter. So think about those big achievements, those big impacts that you made. And finally, your last paragraph should be a call to action. Perhaps you want to connect with others. You want to send an email or schedule a call. It's really important, especially if you are building connections. Perhaps you're wanting to reach out to employers or recruiters, and specifically, if you're wanting to reach your target new clients, you want to let them know that you're approachable. How can they get in contact with you? So it's important to invest some time here, use keywords, make sure that it's relevant, right? It always comes back to targeting the specific audience that you're wanting to attract. If you need more inspiration, we have got a whole stack of resources on this in that article that I mentioned earlier. So this is a basic template that you can try. What's people's thoughts on this one?
I think it's really important to know that you don't just copy and paste your CV, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So some people might cut and paste their CV, the work sections or whatever, and put it into the section of the LinkedIn. Now, this is your opportunity to really show your value. You can show your complete personality. You can make it a little, professional, but also a little personal as well. So you can get totally creative in how you want to present yourself. So think about how you're wanting to present yourself to the world of work. And this will give you a little bit of a structure or a format in terms of how you might want to do that. But there are stacks of other formats. So luckily for you, we've managed to sift out that fantastical article, and we have it actually at the very, very back of this slide as well. So if anybody wants a copy of this PowerPoint, can you please email Toby, because all these links that I referred to, or articles or pieces of information, are all on our resources, not just on the Hive, but also on this PowerPoint. So we're happy to send that to you. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I wanted to have a conversation with you all about sharing your disability, your impairment, your condition. How do you do that? Do you want to do it on LinkedIn? Know that it's a personal choice. You don't have to. Some people are comfortable with doing that. Some people are not. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just a right and wrong for you, right? So I've chosen to share my neurodiversity, and this is how I've done it in the About section. So, Toby, I'm just going to get you to read it out, and then I'm going to ask people for some feedback. Let us know what you think.
So, on a professional mission to disrupt and redesign a better world of work for all, I collaborate and coach entry to executive level across my disabilities. Though passionate about diversity and inclusion, my interest area is neurodiversity. My ADHD and dyslexia means I am unquietly qualified to understand the barriers and challenges you face in the world of work. I am the best in a creative and progressive space. Together, we will jobcraft, designing and implementing a win strategy that gets you noticed. Job search, getting smarter on how and where to search, includes accommodations. Message me here or call me on.
Thank you. And that should say uniquely. So that's a little spelling error. My apologies. So this is how I'm choosing to share my neurodiversity on my About Me section. And I do it in a way in which I'm showing how I'm using my neurodiversity strengths to help you be able to find that opportunity in the world of work. So I want this to open this up and ask you, how comfortable do you feel about sharing or discussing your disability at this stage? I mean, this is LinkedIn, so it's going to be out there 24/7. It's not as though you're choosing to share it across the different stages of the job search. For some people, they don't want to share it at all, and that's perfectly okay. For other people, they want to be selective in terms of how they share or discuss their disability. It may be dependent on the employer and on the job itself. So what's coming up in the chat box, Toby?
Okay, so firstly, loads of people are asking for the PowerPoint, which I will happily send after this webinar. Loads of people saying, redisclosing my disability, I have a position statement I rattle off as suitable points in the recruitment process. Someone else says, good link to the chaos to order summary statement. Another one saying, I do because I need to be more authentic me for my customers. Loads actually. I want to indicate alliance to my condition, but not sure about disclosing publicly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so each of us are all unique, and how you want to do that is up to you. But just know that this is all still part of your personal brand, right? Because we're talking about all of you, your interests, your hobbies, who you are as a person, who you are in the world of work. So you get to choose how you want to present, pitch, and promote yourself in the world of work. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, So it's really interesting that somebody brought up earlier about the fact that they weren't too sure whether they were wanting to, I suppose, discuss publicly. Did you know, guys, that on LinkedIn, in the privacy settings, you have an opportunity to tick that disability box? I had no idea that this was here until a few days ago. So if you are not comfortable in disclosing or sharing your disability, condition, or impairment across your LinkedIn profile, there's an opportunity for you to still do so privately by ticking that box. What that means is, because we know that employers and recruiters use LinkedIn as a database to find you, they can also search for, different categories, different interest areas, different industries, different types of individuals. So you may come up in that specific search that they pull. So it could be in your interest to tick that box. But the great thing is it's not going to show up publicly on your profile. However, if you do want to openly share as part of your personal brand, it can show that you're confident in all of who you are. So it shows that that you're being fully authentic. Not that you're not if you don't, right? Because we've all got different reasons why we may or may not want to share. If you're an activist or into your activism, this is a really great opportunity for you to elevate and boost that across your LinkedIn, right? Because you're demonstrating and showing that you're busting myths. You're also promoting diversity and inclusiveness. And you can also demonstrate those strengths and talents that you have because of and not in spite of your disability. So this is all about positive reframing and letting employers know that you're confident in your personal brand and who you are. And you're also demonstrating those fabulous skills and talents that you have because of who you are. Okay, what are your thoughts on that, everyone? Did you know that there was an option for you to tick that box on LinkedIn to say that you have a disability? And is this something that you would use? Do you think this is of benefit? Let's move on to the next slide, Toby, and you can tell me what people's thoughts have been on that last one. Okay, so there are 8 further steps that you can take to help promote your personal brand across LinkedIn. Are you a beginner, an intermediate, or an expert all-star? According to LinkedIn, in order for you to be an all-star, i.e. have a fabulous, amazing profile that will allow you to be more searchable, you've got to really cover these 8 steps. And they are making sure that you add your industry and location. Why might you do that? Well, again, if recruiters and employers are looking for individuals based on their industry sector, based on a location, by populating your LinkedIn profile with these, this will help you get found in that job search that's run by a recruiter or an employer. So it might be in your best interest to do so. Don't forget, you can customize your LinkedIn. You can did you know that you can create a LinkedIn URL and customize it? And you can then copy that and put that into your CV right at the top beside your telephone number. And that's a link then that employers can click into to find out a little bit more about you. So it's an opportunity for you, again, to show a little more about who you are to the employer or indeed to the client. The work section. Okay, this is not about cutting and pasting your CV. Please don't do that. We don't want to see responsibilities in your LinkedIn work section. We want to see achievements, success, outcomes, right? 3 to 4 bullet points is absolutely perfectly fine. You want to start with some really impactful action words, and you want to craft that work section into little mini success stories. You want to highlight your achievements, your results. 3 or 4 bullet points is absolutely fine. Don't forget, you can also add in your volunteering. Maybe you're doing multiple roles at the moment. Maybe you're working in portfolio careers. It's absolutely fine to list each one of those jobs. Lots of people are often doing more than one job simultaneously. Okay, skills. Did you know that there's a skills section on LinkedIn? To be all-star, you kind of need at least to list 5 skills or more. So be strategic in terms of your personal brand. List those top 5 skills that are required for that job that you're looking for. So you always want to be thinking about that future job when you're crafting your personal brand on LinkedIn. But you can choose up to 80 key skills. Don't forget to list your education. Sometimes that's really important for recruiters or employers because that will also make you more searchable. Connecting, networking is really critical to help you grow and develop your personal brand. You need at least a minimum of 50 contacts, according to LinkedIn. Do you have a minimum of 50 contacts? What's the chat box saying, Toby?
There's a few people who weren't aware of the disability box in the profile settings. And to be fair, I wasn't aware of this until you told me like a few days ago. So, and people are, are sometimes happy about disclosing it, aren't happy, but, they're very much in control of it. Some said, good tip about future role in mind in crafting LinkedIn profiles. Yeah, I think it's really interesting about contacting, connecting with 50 people. You can connect with old employees, people you aspire to, their stories and listening to their storytelling.
Absolutely. No, if anyone is interested in another webinar or support on how you would build those networks and connections, that's a whole workshop in its own. So if you are interested in an advanced workshop, please let us know. But don't forget, you can also highlight any awards that you've won, any projects that you've managed or facilitated in or been a part of. The more the content, the more relevant content and valuable content that you put in, the more searchable you will be, and the more it's demonstrating your success, and the more that's playing into and helping to promote your personal brand, right? So don't forget, you've got recommendations and endorsements. These are like the testimonials. They're like the references that you can seek out. They can be highly, highly valuable because it helps to build that trust. It helps to let that employer or client know what your value is. So here's a challenge I'm going to set you today. Why not reach out to 3 people and ask for recommendations? Can be a previous manager, a current manager. Maybe it's a client that you've just done some business with. Maybe it's a colleague. Why not even think about offering a recommendation to somebody that you know has done an absolutely fabulous job? What would you say about that individual? If you are reaching out for others to ask for a recommendation, think about family, friends, but think about those professionals where you've worked really well with, where you've achieved fabulous results together. So I look forward to hearing about your recommendations. So don't forget to turn on and let recruiters know that you're open for business. Now, you can obviously have a little banner that's running across your LinkedIn profile that's public, but my understanding is this can also be private. So it doesn't have to show publicly. It lets recruiters know on the back end of LinkedIn that you're actively looking, and it can be very supportive and help when it comes to you showing up in job search returns by recruiters and employers. So let's go to the next slide, Toby. Okay, really, really quickly, I don't want to spend too much time in this because I'm very conscious that we've got 10 minutes for some Q&As. Connecting, networking, content building, this would be then the next stage that you would be developing in terms of your personal brand. So in terms of connecting, did you know that you can join a LinkedIn group? Many LinkedIn groups, there are hundreds and thousands. What's your interest area? What's your focus? Why not join some LinkedIn groups or forums, start to meet others and have conversations. So it's really important that you start embracing your networking online. And did you know that you can start building your connections and through your first, second, and third connections? So this is essentially, if you have a look at some of your current connections, they're already connected, and those people are already connected, and those people are already connected. Think about it as like a big, giant web of connection. So there may be some really interesting, influential people that you may want to contact or reach out to that are also associates or connections of the current people that you're connected to, or the current professionals that you're connected to on LinkedIn. So this is a really, really invaluable way to very quickly sift through and work out who you want to be connected to. And remember, we talked earlier about understanding who your audience are. Who are you wanting to attract? So have conversations with key people, with key influencers. It helps to build knowledge. It helps to build connection and a sense of community. What about creating and sharing new content? Do you do that at the moment? What kind of posts and articles have you got on LinkedIn? Maybe you're using video. Video is probably one of the more popular ways of delivering content across LinkedIn. If you are thinking of using content either through article writing or posts, have a specific goal in mind. Make sure it's clear and consistent. Know who the audience is. Have a think about what content they might be interested in. Don't forget to exhibit your knowledge, your expertise, your opinion. Try posing a question, running a poll, sharing a story. There's always that article you can write. So my top tip here is that just know that when you're developing your personal brand, do it in incremental steps, because your credibility takes time. It takes time to build that personal brand. Okay, any thoughts? What are people saying?
So someone wasn't aware that there are forum groups on LinkedIn, but there's thousands, haven't there, really? Someone also has said, use a search tool in the network, use keywords.
Fantastic, absolutely. On LinkedIn, you can search for people, groups, posts, articles, jobs. It just depends what content you're interested in. So see LinkedIn as this huge database full of fabulous information. It's like gold dust, right? There's lots of really excellent content, groups and people, this big, huge professional community of people and information and contacts that can help you build your career, get noticed, make an impact. So let's go to the next slide, Toby. Okay, so this is our resources section. I wanted to draw your attention to it. But before I do, I just wanted to let you know that your brand is not just LinkedIn. Your personal brand is not just on LinkedIn, but it can be on Twitter, it can be on Facebook, right? So it's on other online sites, but it's also offline as well. Your personal brand is, your behaviors, who you are, how you present yourself. It's the complete you. Now, in terms of resources, we have our Hive, which is stacked full of brilliant articles and tools and video. That one that I could barely get out earlier, Why Fit In When You Were Born to Stand Out, is a fabulous little article. It actually takes you through some activities and how to start crafting your personal brand, and they're quite creative. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance, to please look at that. Quick tips on LinkedIn: showing your achievements, discussing disability positively, and why you're a premium candidate. These are actually two previous webinars that we crafted together, and these two are stacked full of fabulous activities in terms of your strengths and talents, in terms of how to identify and build your talents and strengths. Okay, so these are my go-to external links. Highly, highly recommend these. LinkedIn enables disability disclosure. That's that article that demonstrates how LinkedIn is being diverse and inclusive. But But there's also 10 LinkedIn profile summaries that we love. So it gives you an example of what's a best practice profile. And these are really interesting and very creative profiles. 21 tips for attracting followers. The LinkedIn profile writing guide by JobScan is a really in-depth and detailed look at LinkedIn in terms of your personal branding, how to write your profile, how to connect with others. Highly recommend this. Writing an effective summary is also a fabulous article by LinkedIn. And then we've got the 10 golden rules on personal branding, which is a fabulous Forbes article. So again, if anyone's interested in this PowerPoint, let us know. Toby's happy to send it out. You can click on the links there. But this recording will also be on the Hive, so you can get to watch me back if you like. If you don't like that, you find it boring and you want to go straight to the content, then absolutely go to some of the articles that are already on the Hive. It's really a condensed version of this, or you can watch this over at another point. This will be available on the Hive sort of within the next few weeks. Is that right, Toby?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm done with talking. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you think of the webinar. I want you to tell me if you've got any questions or even share how you use LinkedIn. Now, before we do that, there was actually one other slide to share. So Evenbreak Career Hive, I mentioned that earlier. This is the 24/7 website that's stacked full of information and career planning resources. There's also the opportunity to find targeted support services in your local area. And there's also the opportunity for you to ask for tailored and confidential one-to-one support from your careers coach. We have a drop-in, we have a bot chat if you want to do that, but we've also got Meet the Employer events, which is a wonderful opportunity for you to meet the employer and ask them any question you would like about their hiring, about their recruitment practices, about the sort of jobs that they have at the moment. We've got the DPD group on Thursday, and I'll be hosting that webinar. So feel free to join for that. But we've got other webinars coming up. How to start your own business, that's on the 9th of September. And how to succeed in interviews. I am going to be interviewing and grilling a recruiter and finding out what are all her amazing tips that will help you succeed in interview. And that's on the 23rd of September. So if you haven't already, get yourself across to the Hive and register for these fabulous events. I'm done. What's your questions? Over to you, Toby.
So we are very pushed for time, but I'm sure we can answer some questions. Someone said about the job search feature on LinkedIn. It's really useful. Could you talk about a little bit about the job feature on LinkedIn, please?
Yeah, absolutely. The job search feature is really, really dynamic. It's quite intuitive, but there's a lot of filter options. So you can job search via location. You can click or choose the remote box. So if you are only interested in working remotely, or you want to look at the combination of, a location and also remote working, you can do that. You can even filter down via specific industry sectors or even type in keywords. You can also search via, let's see, well, there's the standard sort of search terms in there as well, but it can be very, very, very sophisticated in terms of really filtering down and narrowing down your job search so that the return results are very tailored to what you're looking for specifically. You can also save those job alerts on your LinkedIn as well, and you will get dropped an email from LinkedIn to let you know that there are 30 jobs, 30 neurodiversity scientist jobs, or 45 sales opportunities. It's just one link. Then you click on it and it will actually take you into the page where you can see a whole list of those new jobs as they've been posted by employers. So it's really important, if you are using LinkedIn, that you really get to understand how to harness the power of the job search tool and use it effectively.
Okay, we've got a question from someone. What do you personally like LinkedIn for? How do you use it? How much time do you spend on it?
That's a great question. I quite like LinkedIn. I use it to connect. I'm totally aware that it's all digital. We're just in the middle of a pandemic, right? How are we connecting with people? We can't get out and go to the local pub or go to a networking event. And actually now it's all about online. We're connecting, building business, building relationships digitally and online. And we don't even have to leave our front door. So I like to use LinkedIn because I want to connect with people. I love the fact that it's a global database stacked full of really interesting people who've got very interesting things to say. I want to hear from them, but it's also a platform for me to be able to share and discuss and activate and motivate people with disabilities, specifically within neurodiversity, because I have lived experience of it. So it's my way really of helping and supporting others, and sort of doing that through the posts that I write that are quite motivational.
Someone else had said, have you had any outstanding experiences using LinkedIn?
What does that mean, outstanding experiences?
It's difficult, isn't it?
Can you expand, please? What do you mean by outstanding experiences?
Someone else says, I use LinkedIn like a network. I then look to have conversations on messages, and then I might look at a Zoom call, and if nearby, have a coffee.
Fabulous. Absolutely. I mean, you can use LinkedIn for many different things. You can use it for job search. You can use it for building relationships, connections, building business. You can use it as a research tool. Perhaps maybe you're interested in finding out about a sector, an industry sector, or some content. I mean, it's absolutely, there's so many ways in which you can use LinkedIn. There are experts, thought leaders, influencers, recruiters, entrepreneurs, you name it. It's your opportunity to go in and meet with people virtually to find out how you can collaborate, work together, do business, create opportunities, find new opportunities. I just wanted to answer that question about outstanding. I really love the banter and the comments and the conversations that I get from posts that I write, but also posts that I comment on. I often can get fabulous pieces of information, research, support, help, kindred spirits. I love the sense of community that I get from LinkedIn. So for me, those outstanding experiences is that kindred community that I tap into, which is the neurodiversity community. And the support that I get is just absolutely fabulous. And it really does inspire and motivate me to keep going on my mission. I hope that answers your question.
I think that's it, really. We really ran out of time, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Rosa. You've been amazing, as always.
Thank you, Toby, and thank you very much, everyone. Again, we do have some feedback at the end of this. We would really, really appreciate your time. Let us know what you thought of the webinars and ways we could have improved it. Is there any webinars that you want to see from us in the future? We are more than happy to listen to your feedback. It helps us grow and develop. So we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. If you haven't already and you want to meet the employer, why not pop along on Thursday and meet DPD? But you will have to register for that event. Might see you there. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for everyone. See you.
Bye-bye.